Good morning, students. So, till last class, we had a discussion about the gear trains, and as I said, that chapter has been concluded by covering all varieties of numericals along with the theory part. And I gave the assignment also. Now, as on today, the module 1 is completed by myself, and module 4, that is CAMS, has been covered by Dr. U.M. Daivagna sir. And also in module 5, once again, the gear trains I have covered. Now we left with two modules, module 2 and module 3. Module 2 and module 3 both discusses about the velocity and acceleration analysis. So in module 2, in module 3, both velocity and acceleration analysis of mechanisms will be determined in both the modules. However, module 2, the velocity and acceleration analysis by graphical method, that yesterday only Dr. U.M. Daivagna sir has started. Myself, I am going to now discuss the module 3. As I said, it is an velocity and acceleration of mechanisms by analytical method. So, U.M. Daivagna sir will taught about graphical method, myself about analytical method. These are the two modules that completes our COM subject. So, first of all, let us begin the module 3, where the name of the topic is velocity and acceleration analysis of mechanisms. In the bracket I wrote it analytical method. So velocity, as you all know, that it is the rate of change of displacement with respect to time, whereas the acceleration is the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Like that, we know since our school days the definition of velocity and acceleration. So, rate of change of displacement with respect to time is velocity, rate of change of velocity with respect to time is the acceleration. So, in this chapter, our focus is to find velocity and acceleration of some mechanisms, namely only two mechanisms. One is 4-bar mechanism and other one is slider crank mechanism. So, what is the objective of the module 3? The objective of this chapter is to find velocity and acceleration of two mechanisms. One is 4-bar mechanism and other one is slider crank mechanism. But the approach of finding velocity and acceleration is by means of analytical method. We have certain analytical method to find the velocity and acceleration. One is using trigonometry. You can find the velocity and acceleration. And one more is complex algebra method, or it is also called as a complex variable method. But as far as the syllabus with respect to module 3 is considered, two things to be determined. What are they? One is velocity and another one is acceleration. Of how many mechanisms? Two mechanisms. One is 4-bar mechanism and other one is slider crank mechanism. And what is the approach you are going to adopt to find the velocity and acceleration? Analytical method. In analytical method, as far as the contents prescribed in module 3, we have to approach the complex algebra method to find the velocity and acceleration. Now, before beginning, let us put it in one sentence like this. So, the objective of the module 3 is to find velocity and acceleration of either 4-bar mechanism or slider crank mechanism using one of the analytical method, that is using complex algebra method. So this is what the objective. So 3 points. One is we have to find velocity and acceleration. Second, what are the mechanisms for which I have to calculate velocity and acceleration? One is 4-bar mechanism and other one is slider crank mechanism. And the third point is what is the approach of finding velocity and acceleration of these mechanisms is by means of analytical method. In analytical method, what is the analytical method which we are adopting here? Complex algebra method. So therefore, let us now, in this class, only I am talking about the complex algebra method. And finally, I will conclude the class by giving certain points where you have to remember so that you can easily calculate the velocity and acceleration of 4-bar mechanism and slider crank mechanism by means of complex algebra method. So today's class, it is only recalling the basics of complex algebra method which you people have come across in your third semester mathematics or in engineering mathematics. Now, let us start the introduction. The complex algebra is one of the analytical method used in the velocity and acceleration analysis of planar mechanisms. Here, what are those planar mechanisms? One is 4-bar mechanism and other one is slider crank mechanism. So I said very clearly before beginning this, what is the objective of the chapter? So the complex algebra is one of the analytical method which can be used in finding the velocity and acceleration of mechanisms. As I said already, the complex algebra method is also called as a complex variable method. In complex algebra method, the complex numbers are used to represent the kinetic vectors. In planar problems, a vector is, what is meant by a vector? Because here complex numbers are used. Because it is a complex algebra method, complex numbers are used to represent what? To represent the kinematic vectors. So what is meant by vector? Vector is represented by its magnitude and direction in polar form. So what are the coordinates of polar form? Small r and theta. So r and theta or polar form. So here in complex algebra is one of the analytical method which we use to find the velocity and acceleration of some mechanisms. And in complex algebra method, we use the complex numbers in order to represent a vectors, kinematic vectors. What is meant by a vector? So vector is represented by its magnitude. It is having a certain magnitude and direction also. So magnitude and direction. Both means it is a vector. Only magnitude means you know that it is a scalar. So both the links are being represented. So because if I take any mechanism, there are so many links as we have already come across in our module 1. So for each and every link will be represented by a vectors. So the links are being represented by a vectors. So what is vector? It is having a magnitude and as well as a direction. And what is the coordinate system which we adopt here? Polar coordinates or polar form. The vectors, the links are being represented by a vector in polar coordinates, that is small r and theta. Further, to proceed, first of all, the basic formulas or relations which we have already come across, let us recall it. One is, as you know, that I square is equal to minus 1, or I is equal to root of minus 1, and e power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, where cos theta is called a real part and sin theta is the imaginary part. So these are the two things. One is, you already know that I square or j square. Here I am using a notation instead of j, I. So I square is equal to minus 1. Obviously then I is equal to square root of minus 1. And one more is e power I theta. That can be written as cos theta plus I sin theta. That you call it as equation 1. In equation 1, where cos theta on right hand side, cos theta represents, it is the real part because it is having only a magnitude, and sin theta is a imaginary part. Now what I do, I will multiply the equation 1 on both sides with I. So if I multiply equation 1 on both sides with I, then left hand side will become I into e power I theta. I am multiplying the equation 1 with I. So on both sides. So if I multiply the left hand side, it will be I into e power I theta. That is equal to right hand side, if I multiply I into bracket cos theta plus I sin theta. Then multiply I with each and every term inside the bracket. Then I into cos theta is I cos theta plus I into I is I square sin theta. Now further, I e power I theta is equal to I cos theta plus I square. So just now I told I square is equal to minus 1. Therefore, minus 1 into sin theta, it becomes minus sin theta. So therefore, further I into e power I theta is equal to I into cos theta can be written as sin of 90 minus theta, sin t plus theta. So sin 90 plus theta is equal to cos theta, as you all know that, and cos 90 plus theta is equal to minus sin theta. So I can write I into, instead of cos theta, I can write sin of theta plus pi by 2. Pi by 2 means 90. So 90 plus theta or theta plus 90. So sin of theta plus 90 is plus cos theta, minus sin theta it is there. So plus cos of theta plus pi by 2, that is 90. So cos theta, I wrote it. On the side you can see cos theta is equal to sin of pi by 2 plus theta or theta plus pi by 2. And cos of theta plus pi by 2 can be written as minus sin theta. Hence, I replaced I into, in place of cos theta, by sin theta plus 90 dot pi by 2 plus, instead of minus sin theta, I can write it as plus cos of theta plus pi by 2. Now the equation 1 is in the form of, the equation I into e power I theta is equal to I sin of theta plus pi by 2 plus cos of theta plus pi by 2. This equation is in the form of equation 1. But what is the difference in this equation is, in equation 1, theta. So here that theta is equal to theta plus pi by 2. So both are same. Now after multiplying I, the equation 1, Once again I obtained the equation which is same as the equation 1. Therefore, on comparing both, I can say that so both are same, but theta here it is equal to theta plus pi by 2. So hence I can write I into e power I theta is equal to, I can write e power I of, instead of theta, theta plus pi by 2, because you know that e power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. That is our equation 1. After multiplying both sides with I and further simplifying, I got at the end I e power I theta is equal to I sin of theta plus pi by 2 plus cos of theta plus pi by 2. So this equation is same as the equation 1, but here theta is equal to theta plus pi by 2. Hence I can write I e power I theta is equal to e power I of, instead of theta, theta plus pi by 2. So hence the equations 1 and 2 are important in the analysis of velocity and acceleration. What is the equation 1? Equation 1 is e power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, where you have to remember. And what is the second equation? Now I got it. I e power I theta is equal to e power I of theta plus pi by 2. So these are the two important equations which you have to remember in order to solve the problems in module 3. Now, as I said, the mechanisms consist of number of links, and each and every link will be represented by means of a vector. Therefore, now let us understand or let us discuss how to represent a link in the form of a vector. So for that, look at the diagram, that is the figure 1. So let us consider a link OC. I am considering one link just because I should understand how a link can be represented by means of a vector using a complex number. So in order to do that, so let us consider here I am taking a link OC having length R or magnitude OR. Magnitude is small r, rotating in clockwise direction with angular velocity omega, and it is rotating about the point O. So now to represent a link of any mechanism by means of a vector using a complex number, here I am just giving one illustration or an example of by considering one link. So let us consider a link OC having magnitude or length equal to small r and rotating in clockwise direction with angular velocity omega. You can see the direction of rotation of the link, and it is rotating about the point O. In complex algebra method, here the link OC, whatever I have considered, is lying in a plane xy. So normally what we write, Cartesian coordinates xy. X is the horizontal axis, y is the vertical axis. In the plane xy you can consider, but here I should adopt or I should represent the vector, I should represent the link by means of a vector using a complex number in polar form. Therefore, so horizontal axis will be a real axis and vertical axis is a imaginary axis in complex algebra method. In Cartesian coordinates, horizontal axis is x, vertical axis is y. But in complex algebra method, the same horizontal axis is the real axis and vertical axis is the imaginary axis. So I am considering a link OC having a magnitude small r, making or rotating with an angular velocity omega in clockwise direction, making clockwise direction in a plane having horizontal axis is real axis and imaginary axis is equal to imaginary axis. Now at any particular instant, after considering in the set of real and imaginary axis, at any particular instant, the link OC makes an angle theta with the real axis as shown in figure. Now I am considering, but at any particular instant, the position of the link can be specified by making an angle theta. That is what the meaning of this sentence. At any particular instant, the link OC, let us say it is making an angle of theta with the real axis, which can be shown in the figure 1. Now the link OC can be represented, right? So the representation of the position of the point C, because now I should represent the link OC by means of a vector using a complex number in polar form. So now, after considering at any particular instant, it is making an angle of theta with the real axis. Now the representation of position of the point C, one of the end, because it is rotating about the point O. Now I need to specify the position of the point C. So which can be represented, link OC can be represented in complex number by OC bar. That is equal to C bar, which is equal to, we can write it as vector in polar form, R into e power I theta. So let us call this as equation number 3. So how a position or the configuration of the point C with respect to O can be specified in a vector OC bar. That is equal to, or simply you can write C bar, that is equal to what in vector form, in polar form, R into e power I theta, where R is the magnitude of the vector and theta is the position of the vector. So R is the, just now I told, link OC is having a magnitude of small r, therefore R gives the magnitude of the vector and theta is the position of the vector. So now further, OC bar is equal to C bar is equal to, so R into e power I theta. You take any, suppose instead of link OC, if I call this as AB, origin A and other end of the link is B, AB, then AB can be represented in a vector by means of AB bar or B bar simply. That is equal to, once again, R into e power I theta. Please remember, if at all there is a link, for that link, if it is AB, then I should write AB bar or B bar. That is equal to, in general, R into e power I theta. So in which R is the magnitude of the vector and theta is the position of the vector. Now R into e power I theta, just now I told in the previous slide, e power I theta, and also you know that how to write, it is cos theta plus I sin theta. So then further, if I multiply R with the terms inside the bracket, then it will be R cos theta plus I into R sin theta, where R cos theta represents the position of C dash on real axis and R sin theta represents the position of C double dash on imaginary axis. Let us go back how I got this. So after considering a vector in the real and imaginary axis, so if I project the point C onto the real axis, it will coincide at point C dash, and if I project it on the imaginary axis, it coincides on the imaginary axis, that I called it as C double dash. Now if I measure from the origin, vertical height is R sin theta and horizontal component is R cos theta. Therefore, R cos theta, what it represents? It represents the position of which point? C dash on the real axis, and R sin theta represents the position of C double dash on imaginary axis. Therefore, I can write the coordinates of the point C as R cos theta is a x coordinate or a real component, and R sin theta is the y coordinate, that is R sin theta. So therefore, equation 3 is known as position vector, or it is also called as a displacement vector of which link? Link OC in a plane having a real and imaginary axis. So you must remember first equation. What is it? E power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. Second, I into e power I theta is equal to e power I into theta plus pi by 2. Now you have to remember, after understanding how the link can be represented by means of a vector in a complex form, so any vector is equal to simply r into e power I theta. That is our equation 3. Here I took a link and named as OC. Right. And link OC is rotating about the point O. So therefore the vector of link OC in a vector form will be written as OC bar. That is equal to R OC. You can write OC bar or simply C bar, which is equal to always r into e power I theta. So further, so where equation 3 is what? It is the position vector or the displacement vector of a link OC. Now after finding the position or a displacement of any vector, I can find further velocity. Therefore next is velocity analysis. To find the velocity, the equation 3 is to be differentiated with respect to time. Why? Because just now I told equation 3 is what? It is the position vector, or it is also called as displacement vector of link OC. Therefore, in order to find the velocity of the link OC, let us differentiate the equation 3 with respect to time. So, let VC bar, so is the velocity of link OC or vector C, then VC bar is equal to d by dt of C bar. So what is C bar? C bar is equal to r into e power I theta. So therefore VC bar, what is VC bar? Velocity of vector C or velocity of link OC. How I can get the velocity of link OC or velocity of vector OC? If I differentiate the position vector or the displacement vector of link OC, which is nothing but equation 3. So therefore, if I differentiate with respect to time once, I will get velocity. So therefore, VC bar is equal to d by dt of C bar, or that is equal to d by dt of C bar is nothing but r into e power I theta. Now I should differentiate r, that is magnitude of the vector, which is constant, only variable is theta. So now I should differentiate this theta with respect to time. So therefore what I do now, by using a chain rule, I can write this d by dt as d by d theta of r e power I theta into d theta by dt. Because d theta gets cancelled, then I will be remaining with the same value. Therefore, by applying a chain rule, I can, because I should differentiate a theta with respect to time. So for that, by applying a chain rule, I am just arranging so that I can differentiate it. So for that, what I am doing here, d by d theta of r e power I theta into d theta by dt. So that d theta gets cancelled, then the result will be same as the previous one. So now if I differentiate r e power I theta with respect to theta, then anyhow I said r is constant, so bring it outside, then only I should differentiate d by d theta of e power I theta. So if I differentiate e power I theta, I will get e power I theta into d by d theta of power I theta, then it will be I only, because d by d theta of theta is 1. So if I differentiate the power, then it will be, so once again I am, r is constant outside, then I should differentiate e power I theta only with respect to theta. If I differentiate d by d theta of e power I theta is equal to e power I theta only, that you write it into d by d theta of this power term. Power term is I theta. So d by d theta of I theta is nothing but I into d theta by dt can be written as omega, because what is theta? It is the angular position, or simply angle or angular position. So rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time is nothing but angular velocity. Therefore, in place of d theta by dt, I can write it as omega. Thereby here, or omega I am rearranging into I into e power I theta. Then Vc bar is equal to r omega. Now I can write I into e power I theta as e power I of theta plus pi by 2. So that is what I have learnt in the previous slide. So e power, equation number 2. So therefore, I into e power I theta is equal to e power I of theta plus pi by 2. So now this is a velocity vector of length OC. So that you call it as equation 4. Now if I observe in equation 4, so what is this Vc bar? It is the velocity, that is equal to r omega. So r omega is now represents the magnitude of vector. Which vector? Velocity vector. So magnitude of velocity vector is r omega, and its position of the vector is theta plus pi by 2. So that is what from the equation number 4 one can understand. So I have differentiated to get the velocity. Now I got Vc bar is equal to r omega into e power I of theta plus pi by 2, where that I called it as equation number 4, in which r omega is the magnitude of velocity vector and theta plus pi by 2 is the position of the velocity vector. So now if I represent this, because velocity is also a vector, now I can represent this velocity vector by means of a pictorial diagram. So now I have carried forward the first figure. You can see that is the left hand quadrant, where see everything theta is the angle made with the real axis. Now if I want to represent the vector, velocity vector, now what is its magnitude? R omega is the magnitude, and what is its position? It is now making an angle of theta plus 90 pi by 2. So therefore, already position vector is making theta. Now for this theta, if I add 90, then exactly velocity vector will be perpendicular to the displacement vector or the position vector. So therefore, I have drawn from the origin one vector at any length, first of all, perpendicular to the velocity vector, because its angle is theta plus pi by 2. So therefore, and on that vector I should cut in magnitude of how much? R omega, and I will write it as Vc bar. So Vc bar is the vector where its magnitude is R omega, and angle which it makes is theta plus pi by 2, because angle is velocity vector is leading the displacement vector. Why? Because it is theta plus. Plus means leading. Therefore, like this, towards right side, perpendicular to the position vector I have drawn from the origin. But if it is theta minus pi by 2, then I would have drawn below, perpendicular only, but from the origin down. So theta minus pi by 2, if it is, then it is called velocity is lagging the displacement. That is why from the origin down, perpendicular to displacement. But here it is theta plus pi by 2, therefore perpendicular to displacement from the origin, you draw a vector of any length first of all at an angle of theta plus pi by 2, and on that vector take a magnitude equal to Rw and cut it. Then you will get a velocity vector. So now the equation 2 gives the velocity vector in which R omega, as I said already, the magnitude, and theta plus pi by 2 is the position. Like that, now I have understood how a link will be represented by means of a vector, right? And after representing it, how to find the velocity, like this, differentiate, that's it, analytical method. Now once the velocity is obtained, then acceleration. So to find the acceleration, what I need to do now, go back to equation number 4. What is the equation number 4? It is the velocity. So therefore, if I differentiate the velocity with respect to time, so I will get the acceleration. So to find the acceleration, the equation 4 is to be differentiated with respect to time. So therefore, hence, now let us take AC bar is the acceleration of link OC or vector C bar. So now AC bar is equal to what I can write? It is the rate of change of velocity vector with respect to time. That is AC bar is equal to d by dt of VC bar. Now what is VC bar? Just now we know it. So that is or I into or omega into e power I of theta plus pi by 2. So if I d by dt of. So therefore once again here theta is the variable, so which is to be differentiated with respect to term. Therefore directly here I wrote by chain rule d by dt of Vc bar, that is r omega into e power I of theta plus pi by 2 into d theta by dt. Now that is equal to r omega, just bring it outside, and d by dt of e power I of theta plus pi by 2 into d theta by dt, that is rate of change of angular displacement theta with respect to time t. D theta by dt is equal to omega. Now r omega as it outside, now bring it this omega inside the bracket, so that now d by d theta is equal to omega into e power I of theta plus pi by 2. Now this is in the form of uv, that is u into d by d theta of v plus v into d by d theta of u. So that is what the differentiation of the term which is inside the bracket. So further r omega as it is into now d by d theta of this which is in the form of uv. So r omega into u as it is first, that is omega into d by d theta of v. What is v? E power I of theta plus pi by 2 plus v as it is e into I of theta plus pi by 2 into d by d theta of u, that is nothing but omega. Now that is equal to r omega of omega into, now if I differentiate e power I of anything with respect to theta, then it will be same. So e power I of theta plus pi by 2, because differentiation of e power I theta is what? E power I theta. But after differentiating into this power itself is a function of time, if I differentiate this power with respect to theta, I am going to get I, because I am differentiating d by d theta of power term, that is I of theta plus pi by 2. So pi by 2 is constant, it is 0, plus d by d theta of theta is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 into I is I, plus e power I of theta plus pi by 2 into d by d theta of omega is nothing but d omega by d theta. Now further r omega into omega as it is into, now I brought it, I rearranged this term omega into I into e power I of theta plus pi by 2 plus e power I of theta plus pi by 2 into d omega by d theta. So d omega is what? Omega is the angular velocity, because how I got it? D theta by dt, that is angular velocity omega. If I differentiate angular velocity with respect to displacement, then I am going to get so d omega by d theta. So d omega by d theta can be written as, now look at on the other side, I wrote it on the side, d omega by d theta is equal to, I can write it as by chain rule, d omega by dt into d theta by dt, because d omega by d theta, theta is the angular displacement, so and omega is the angular velocity. So therefore d omega by d theta is equal to, I can write it as d omega by dt into d theta by dt. So d omega by dt is nothing but rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. I am going to get angular acceleration, that is alpha, into, so d theta by dt I can write it as dt by d theta is equal to reciprocal of omega, 1 by omega. Thereby d omega by dt is equal to alpha by omega. So that I wrote it. Now in place of I into e power I of theta plus pi by 2, I wrote it as e power I of theta plus pi. Now or omega into this. So further AC bar is equal to, if I multiply r omega with the two terms inside the bracket, r omega into omega is r omega square into e of I into theta plus pi, plus if I multiply the second term r omega into alpha by omega, that will be remaining with r alpha into e power I of theta plus 2. So this is equation number 5. It is representing the acceleration vector. In this first term represents the normal component or the centripetal component of acceleration vector, where its magnitude is r omega square and its position or direction is theta plus pi. And second term represents also a component of acceleration, but it is tangential component of acceleration, where its magnitude is r alpha and its direction is theta plus pi by 2. So acceleration, so using equation 5 I can find the acceleration, but that acceleration is having two components. One is normal component, other one is tangential component. So if I represent the acceleration once again by means of pictorial diagram, then you can see, I have just carried forwarded the figure number 2, where link OC that represents the position and velocity vector, already it is there. Now I have added two components of the acceleration once again in the diagram. One is normal component of acceleration. What is its magnitude? R omega square. And what is its angle? Theta plus pi. Therefore theta plus pi. So theta plus pi by 2 already velocity vector. Now for that again it is plus, means lagging, not lagging, leading only. So therefore again pi by 2 if I measure and draw, then your normal component of acceleration will be in line with the displacement vector. So therefore from the origin in line with the downwards in second quadrant, I have drawn the vector normal component a power n of c. An is the normal component of acceleration of which vector? C. So an c is equal to r omega square. It is making an angle of theta plus pi. And another component is tangential component of acceleration. What is its magnitude? R alpha. But what is its angle? Theta plus pi by 2. Therefore the tangential component of the acceleration is coinciding with the velocity vector, because velocity vector angle is theta plus pi by 2. What is the tangential component of acceleration angle? It is also theta plus pi by 2. So like that I have just written in the velocity vector itself on the down ATC, that is tangential component of acceleration of vector c, which is equal to r alpha, making an angle equal to a velocity vector angle, that is theta plus pi by 2. Like that. So first take a link, represent it by means of a vector. If the link is AB, how I can write in a vector for AB bar on B bar? That is equal to what? That is equal to what? Go back to your first slide. R into e power I theta for any link, R into e power I theta is the vector form, is the vector representation in polar form using complex algebra. So therefore, and after representing by means of a vector, if I differentiate that vector with respect to time once, I am going to get velocity. And further, if I differentiate velocity with respect to time, I am going to get acceleration. Like that, for any link, I can find the velocity and acceleration like this, because it is an analytical method. But the approach of analytical method is using a complex algebra method. So like that, this is about an introduction. Now, the second part is loop closure equation. So what is a loop closure equation? So the sum of the relative position vectors for the links forming a closed loop in the given mechanism is always 0. What is that? The sum of the relative position vectors of the links forming a closed loop in any given mechanism is always 0. This is called as loop closure equation. So what is loop closure equation? The sum of the relative position vectors of the links in a given mechanism that forms a closed loop is called a loop closure equation. The loop closure equation, what it gives? It gives the relation between the position vectors of different links in a mechanism forming a closed loop. That is what here the statement which clearly tells. What is the statement of the closure equation? The sum of the relative position vector, relative, not absolute. So the sum of the relative position vectors for the links forming a closed loop in a given mechanism is always 0. This is the statement of the loop closure equation. So what this loop closure equation gives? It gives the relationship between the position vectors of different links in a mechanism. Therefore, so even loop changes its position, the magnitudes of the relative position vectors does not change with respect to time. So the 2 points which you have to remember in this: first, what is a loop closure equation and what is the purpose, what is the use of a loop closure equation. So what is the loop closure equation? The sum of the relative position vectors for the links forming a closed loop in a mechanism is always 0. This is the statement of the loop closure equation. What it is, why for the loop closure equation we have to find or we have to write for a given mechanism, because it gives the relation between position vectors of different links, because not only mechanism is, there will be a number of links. So it gives the relationship between the position vectors of different links in a mechanism. Now I will discuss in a simple way how to find the loop closure equation for some mechanisms. First, I said very clearly, here in velocity and acceleration analysis of mechanisms by analytical method, only 2 mechanisms. One is forward mechanism, another one is a slider crank mechanism. For these 2 mechanisms, now I will discuss how to write the loop closure equation. Now first, let us take a 4-bar mechanism. 4-bar mechanism, A, B, C, D. Mechanism is one link is fixed, link AD is fixed. So there are 4 links, AB, BC, CD and DA. So if I come in the order, AB is the link, so where it will be represented by AB bar, and BC bar, CD means CD bar, direction also. So I am just telling DA means D to A, so direction should be D to A. DA bar is the representation by means of a vector. So AB, BC, CD, DA. Suppose if I come D to C, suppose if I begin at point D in a 4-bar mechanism, DC means DC bar, direction should be from D to C. CB means CB bar,
then direction will be from point C to B. BA will be means BA bar. Need not to worry, always I will begin from the point A in the odd sequence, AB bar, BC bar, CD bar, DA bar. So AB bar, BC bar, CD bar and DA bar. So AB means direction of the vector. AB bar is the magnitude and its direction is from A to B. Next, BC link is represented by a vector BC bar, which is its magnitude and it is from B to C. And link CD, where its magnitude is CD bar, which is represented by means of vector CD bar, and its direction is from C to D. So like that, there are 4 links which are represented by means of a position vectors AB bar, BC bar, CD bar, DA bar. So which is taken in a plane having the real axis and imaginary axis. Now first of all, let us find the position vectors of the points A, B, C and D. So right, to find the position vectors of points A, B, C, D, what I should do? I should join the point O, which is the origin, with all the points. O to A, you join it. So direction you show from O to A and write it as A bar. And O to B, that is B bar. Join O to C and represent it, write it as C bar. Then O to D, that is D bar. Like that, first, after taking a 4-bar mechanism, each link should be represented by the vectors AB bar, BC bar, CD bar, DA bar. Then connect the origin O with all the corners of the mechanism or with all the points of the 4-bar mechanism A, B, C, D. So join O to A and write it as with a dotted line A bar, O to B, B bar, O to C, C bar, O to D, D bar. Like that, join origin with all the points of the 4-bar mechanism. For what? In order to find the position vectors. Now, as I said, absolute position vector of point A is equal to OA bar, that is equal to A bar, which can be seen in the figure. So in the figure, what I joined? O to A. Therefore, OA bar is vector, or it can be written as A bar. So OA bar or is equal to A bar. So what is this? This is the absolute position vector. And similarly, I can find the absolute position vectors of the points B. That is nothing but I have to join O with B. That gives OB bar or simply B bar. Then point C, that is OC bar, is equal to C bar. And D is equal to OD bar, that is equal to D bar. So these 4 are the absolute position vectors of the point A, which I got it by connecting these points with the origin O. Now similarly find the relative position vectors of the links. So relative position vector of point B with respect to A is nothing but AB bar. B with A, because the direction is from B to A, then only I will call it as AB bar. So the relative position vector of point B with respect to A is equal to AB bar, that is equal to, I can write it as B bar minus A bar. Simply remember, AB bar means B bar minus A bar. Because why not A bar minus B bar? Because I am finding the position vector of point B with respect to A, relative position. Therefore, AB bar is B bar minus A bar, and relative position vector of the point C with respect to B is BC bar, that can be written as C bar minus B bar, and relative position vector of point D with respect to C is nothing but CD bar, that can be written as D bar minus C bar, and relative position vector of the point A with respect to D is DA bar, that is equal to A bar minus D bar. Like that, connect, take a mechanism. Here it is a 4-bar mechanism having links AB, BC, CD and DA. and represent the vectors AB bar A to B, BC bar B to C, like that. Then find first absolute position vectors of points A, B, C, D by joining the origin with all other points. O with A, B, C, D will get OA bar, OB bar, OC bar, OD bar. They are equal to A bar, B bar, C bar and D bar. Now find similarly relative. Relative means position vector of one point with respect to the another point. Then only it is called as a relative position vector of point B with respect to A. Because A to B is the vector. So B with respect to A, that is nothing but AB bar, which is equal to simply, without looking the figure, AB bar means it is from A to B. So I should write it is the difference between B bar minus A bar. BC bar is C bar minus B bar. CD bar is equal to C bar minus D bar. D bar minus C bar. DA bar is equal to A bar minus D bar. Like that you find absolute position vectors and similarly relative position vector. Now take the statement of the loop closure equation. So according to the statement of loop closure equation, the sum of the relative position vectors forming a closed loop A, B, B, C, C, D and D, A. This is all, if I join all the four links, it forms a closed loop. So the sum of the relative position vectors, not absolute position vector. Students, please remember the statement of the loop closure equation. I should add sum of the relative position vectors of all the links. Here there are four links, AB bar plus BC bar plus CD bar plus DA bar is equal to 0. So what is AB bar? That is nothing but B bar minus A bar. Substitute BC bar as C bar minus B bar. CD bar is equal to D bar minus C bar plus DA bar is equal to A bar minus D bar. That is equal to 0. So now here plus B bar minus B bar minus A bar plus A bar plus C bar minus C bar plus D bar minus D bar all gets cancelled. Then left hand side becomes 0 and right hand side, according to the statement, it is already 0. Therefore left hand side is equal to right hand side. So this is equation 1 is said to be loop closure equation. AB bar is the relative position vector of link AB. BC bar is the relative position vector of link BC. CD bar is the relative position vector of link CD and DA bar is the relative position vector of the link DA. Suppose in the figure, if I show instead of D to A, AD bar, then my sum of the relative position vectors, first 3 as it is plus, but so if I show from A to D, then it will be minus AD bar. So that is going to change. So minus AD bar. So equation 1 is said to be, you have to add all the relative position vectors. Sum of all the relative position vectors is always equal to 0. That is our equation 1, which represents the loop closure equation for the 4-bar mechanism. Similarly, slider crank mechanism, inline means slider and the pivot point O both will be in line with each other. So how to find the loop closure equation for this slider crank mechanism? Now look at the figure. The slider crank mechanism is taken in a plane XY where A is the pivot point. So, and AB is the crank, BC is the connecting rod and point C is the slider. So now in a slider crank mechanism, so there are here I represented AB as AB bar because direction is from A to B, that is AB bar, B to C, BC bar and C to A, so CA bar. Like that AB bar, BC bar, CA bar is the relative position vectors. But how to find? Before that, join the origin with point A. So O to A is OA bar, that is equal to A bar. Join point O with B, then it will be OB bar, that is equal to B bar. And join the point O with C, that gives the OC bar, which is equal to C bar. So join the point O with all the points of the slider crank mechanism and find the absolute position vector of point A is OA bar, that is equal to A bar, of point B is OB bar, that is equal to B bar, of point C, that is OC bar, is equal to C bar. Then find the relative position vector of point B with respect to A, that is nothing but AB bar, which is can be written as B bar minus A bar. BC bar is C bar minus B bar. CA bar is A bar minus C bar. Like that, from the figure we can write the relative position vectors AB bar as B bar minus A bar, BC bar is equal to C bar minus B bar, CA bar is equal to A bar minus C bar. Now look at, there will be difference in between the two vectors. Then only it is called relative. Now in case of absolute position vector, only A bar, B bar, C bar. Absolute. With respect to origin, if I join all the points, I will get absolute position vectors. If I just subtract the two absolute position vectors, I am going to get relative position vectors. AB bar is B bar minus A bar. Now after finding the relative position vectors, now just remember the statement of the loop closure equation. So what the loop closure equation says, I should add all the relative position vectors of the three links of the three vectors. So AB bar plus BC bar plus CA bar. If I look at in the diagram, so A to B, right, similarly B to C and C to A, all are in the sequence and completes the closed loop. Suppose if I write direction instead of C to A, if I write A to C, then my loop closure equation sum of it will be AB bar plus BC bar minus CA bar. So that one should remember. So here all are A to B, B to C, C to A in the sequence, and the direction is also in the same order, in clockwise like this. So hence AB bar plus BC bar plus CA bar, all the three position vectors are positive, that is equal to 0. So now AB bar from the previous slide you can write B bar minus A bar. BC bar can be written as C bar minus B bar plus CA bar is equal to A bar minus C bar, that is equal to 0. Here one is plus, another one is minus, so that left hand side all the terms gets cancels, that is equal to 0. So therefore again left hand side is equal to right hand side. So 0 is equal to 0. So hence the loop closure equation for this slider crank mechanism, it is inline slider crank mechanism. Right, means slider and the pivot point A in the figure both will be on the same line. So that is inline. So equation 2 is the loop closure equation for the slider crank mechanism. Then offset slider crank mechanism. In the offset slider crank mechanism, so the base point of the crank, base point of the crank means point A, because AB is the crank, BC is the connecting rod. So A is the base pivot point of the crank, or separated by a distance called eccentricity from the slider. So in between the slider and the base pivot point A, pivot point A and slider both are not on the same line. They are separated by a distance called eccentricity E. Hence this is called offset slider mechanism. In inline slider mechanism, slider C and point A of the crank AB both will be on the same line. Then it is called inline. Now here it is
separated by a distance. Slider and the end of the crank, base pivot point A of the crank, are separated by a eccentricity. Therefore, this is called a offset slider mechanism. Now, in this offset slider mechanism, once again same procedure. So we have to join first origin with all the points. So that is here I am getting 5 points: O to A, O to B, O to C, O to D. So totally 4 points I am going to get: OA, OB, OC, OD, because it is a half set. So absolute position vectors of point A is A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar of all the 4 points A, B, C, D. But inline only 3, A, B, C, because slider and the end of the crank both are on the same line of stroke. So therefore here, after finding the absolute position vectors, then relative position vectors. So relative position vectors, here how many relative position vector? A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A. So A to B is nothing but AB bar, direction is from A to B. B to C is nothing but BC bar, direction is from B to C. C to D means CD bar, it is from C to D. D to A is DA bar, it is from D to A. Like that, there are 4 relative position vectors I am going to get: AB bar, BC bar, CD bar, DA bar. So which is nothing but B bar minus A bar is AB bar, C bar minus B bar is nothing but BC bar. Like that I can find all the 4 position vectors. Now, according to the statement of the loop closure equation, add all the position vectors. Here all the relative position vector AB, BC, CD and DA. So here all the links are closing by moving from point A to point A in the same direction. Therefore, all the position vectors are positive. So hence, if I join all AB bar, BC bar, CD bar, DA bar. Now substitute AB bar as B bar minus A bar, BC bar as C bar minus B bar, CD bar as D bar minus C bar, DA bar as A bar minus D bar. Then one will be plus, another one will be minus. If I cancel it, left hand side becomes 0 and right hand side is already 0. Therefore, so equation 3 gives the loop closure equation for the half set. Half set means base pivot point of the crank and slider will be separated by a distance E. That is called eccentricity. Then it is called offset. If the base pivot point and slider both are on the same line, that is inline slider crank mechanism. So like that. So today I have discussed about in velocity and acceleration analysis of mechanisms by analytical method. So I have given the introduction about complex algebra method, in which how the links are being represented by a vector in case of a complex algebra method, and after representing a link by means of vector, then I have to differentiate once to get the velocity and I have to differentiate twice to get the acceleration. After finding the velocity and acceleration of one of the link, like that I can adopt it for the whole mechanism. Then closed loop equation, closure loop equation, loop closure equation for 3 mechanisms. For that you must be thorough with the relative position vectors. So okay, this is only for the theoretical aspects. From next class onwards, I will derive an important derivation followed by a problem. Thank you.